Hello all. Now we'll discuss the importance of physical capital and human capital for the development of a country or a nation, right? So before that, we have already discussed about the factors of production. So what is the meaning of factors of production? Factors of production means the basic components or the fundamental components that are necessary to produce goods and services are called as factors of production. Okay, so what are factors of production? Number one, land. So here land means it includes natural resources, not only soil. It includes all other natural resources such as water, forests and minerals. So that is the meaning of land, and land is very much necessary for the production of goods and services, meaning natural resources are very important for the production of goods and services. And the next factor of production, next factors of production is labor. Here labor means manual work. Please try to understand manual work. That means unskilled work, right? So people who will do the work. This is basically with regard to the manual work. That is the meaning of labor here. Next one is a physical capital. Please note this point. I have already discussed about the physical capital in my previous videos, so please visit them. So under physical capital there are two things. One is a fixed capital and another one is working capital. So what is the meaning of fixed capital? Here fixed capital means machinery, buildings, industries. Okay. Capital goods come under fixed capital. So fixed capital is very important because it aids in the production process. It aids in the production of goods and services. And next thing under physical capital is working capital. What is the meaning of working capital? Working capital means raw materials. Money to maintain daily affairs of an industry. Capital to maintain daily affairs of an industry. Okay. So salaries for employees. All this come under working capital. So physical capital has two things: fixed capital and working capital. Okay, right. And the fourth factors of production is human capital. So what is the meaning of human capital? Here human capital means skilled professionals or skilled workforce. Skilled workforce. So people with the skills are called as human capital. People with good education are called as human capital. Am I clear? So land, labor, physical capital and human capital, these four are called as factors of production. Okay, so please remember this point. Whichever the country is sufficient in these four factors of production, then such country is called as a developed country. Okay, so therefore these are very, very essential. So among this, most essential thing is a physical capital. Okay, that is a fixed capital as well as working capital. If you see, among these four factors of production, this physical capital and human capital plays a crucial role. Okay, see, for example, if you take Africa, Africa is known for abundant natural resources, meaning in Africa natural resources are sufficient. However, it doesn't have a skilled workforce. Okay, the countries in Africa are blessed with huge natural resources, but they don't have human capital as well as physical capital. Okay, so what will you do with natural resources if there are no human capital and physical capital? Okay, this is one scenario. If you take Japan doesn't have natural resources. Basically, it is an island country. It is surrounded by ocean on all the sides. It doesn't have any natural resources, but it is the second largest economy in the world, and it is the developed country in the world. It is part of the G7 countries. I think you heard about G7 countries, the most advanced economies in the world. How is it possible? though without any natural resources, though Japan doesn't have natural resources, how Japan has achieved that position? That is my question. Because Japan has physical capital as well as human capital. Am I making sense? Okay, did you understand the importance of human capital and physical capital? Okay, therefore, the country like India has a huge population. So, population will be an asset when the people are given good skills and quality education. Otherwise, the population will become a liability to the country. Right now, the population of India has become burden to the government of India, because almost most of the people in India are unskilled. Okay, as I said earlier, 50% of the workforce are still in agriculture, and most of them are agricultural laborers. Okay, and government has been spending lakhs of crores for welfare schemes, providing free food in the form of National Food Security Act, and providing free shelter in the form of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Indiramma Illu, Jagananna Illu. So the government is spending lakhs of crores for non-productive activities. So this is because lack of human capital. In this present globalized era, we have to compete with the world, because we have to sell our goods and services in the global market. Then only our living standards will improve. So to produce goods and services, we need skills, and we are lacking in that. We don't have good communication skills to communicate with others. Okay, there are many challenges. There are many challenges which are to be addressed as soon as possible. Okay, right. So let me discuss about human capital. So human capital means productive power of country. So productive power of country is called human capital. Productive power means, what is the meaning of productive power? Able to produce goods and services. Okay. Then investment in human capital through education, training, and medical care yields excellent returns, just like investment in physical capital. Yes or no? If we invest in physical capital, meaning establishing the industries and manufacturing facilities, we can produce goods and services. In the same way, if we invest money in human capital, meaning if we invest money for providing good education facilities, good health facilities, yes or no, and skill development programs, definitely our living standards will improve. The productivity of the people will improve. When the productivity is improved, obviously the income of the people will be improved. Am I making sense? Yes or no? So that is the significance of investing money in human capital, right? So this if we invest in human capital, this can be seen directly in the form of higher incomes. Okay, because of higher productivity and a more educated and better trained persons, as well as the higher productivity of healthier people. Okay, so these are the benefits we get by investing money in human capital. Okay, so human capital is superior to other resources like land and physical capital. Okay, the best example is Japan. In Japan has a strong human capital. Japan doesn't have any natural resources, but still it is able to become the second largest economy as well as the developed country in the world because of strong human capital. Am I making sense? So instead of giving freebies, instead of offering freebies to the people, the government should invest more and more money for the quality education. Providing a mere education is not sufficient. Quality education is very, very important. The teachers should be well trained to provide quality education. Because a middle class family in entire life, father and mother in their entire life, they are working to provide good education facilities and health facilities. They don't have other aspects in their life. They don't explore the other dimensions of life. Almost 70 to 80% of the India's population is leading such kind of lifestyle, middle class lifestyle. They can dream, but they cannot fulfill their dreams. They can think, but they cannot implement their thoughts because of lack of income, lack of skills. So this is the scenario in India. So there is the need of the hour is more and more investments should be made in the education and health sector. The irony is the expenditure for the education in India is less than 3% of GDP for this huge population. If you take developed economies like USA and some of the European countries, though they have less population with more GDP, they are spending almost 7 to 8% of their GDP. Okay, I would like to tell you one simple calculation. See, if you look at the GDP of India in rupees, I am telling it approximately, okay, 122 lakh crores. This is the annual GDP of India. If you take the GDP of USA, see, let us take the GDP growth rate. The GDP growth rate, India is in the range of 8% to 9%. Right now, as Corona is going on, the GDP growth rate is contracted. Okay, it is 4% to 5%, right? So, okay. If you look at the growth rate of USA, it is almost 20%. Annual growth rate of USA. Okay, and if you want to know the GDP of USA in rupees, just multiply this 120 lakh crore with 10. So that is the GDP of USA. So in this amount, United States of America is spending nearly 7% to 8% for education. Whereas in this 122 lakh crore, we are spending only just 2% to 3% for education. So that is the fate of India's education system. So how can you expect that the people of India will compete with the global population without any proper skills? That's why globalization is a failure. Yes, globalization is a failure in India because only few sections of the society are getting benefits from globalization. They may say that globalization is successful, but I am saying it in general. If you look at the India as a whole, globalization is a failure. Still we are in poverty. Okay, foreign goods are dumped in India and we are purchasing them. So this scenario is affecting the domestic industry. Yes or no? Right? Okay. So human capital can make use of land and physical capital well. Yes or no? If there is a skilled worker, then only the machine will be operated properly. Yes or no? So human capital can make use of land and physical capital, but land and physical capital cannot become useful on its own. Yes, if you take African countries, though they have natural resources, they don't have human capital. In Japan, there is no natural resource, but there is human capital. That's why Japan is importing raw materials from the other countries and they are adding some value to it and they are exporting the goods. I would like to tell you one funny thing. India is the largest exporter of iron ore to the Japan, and India is the one of the largest importer of steel products from the Japan. Means we are supplying raw material and we are importing the products which are made by it. Meaning we don't have that much production capacity in India to meet the needs of our people. Am I making sense? So therefore, human capital is very, very crucial among the factors of production. Okay. So at the time of independence, because of poor education as well as medical standards, huge population of our country became a liability. Okay. And efforts are being made by the government of India with education and healthcare facilities to turn this liability into asset. Okay, I am not saying that government has completely failed in elevation of poverty. Okay, what I am trying to say is, still there are challenges in India which are to be met. Okay, which are to be met much sooner or later. Okay, so investment in human capital can be done in three ways, as I said earlier: education, health, and skill development. You know, why in education? Why in education? To improve the skills of the people, right? So health of a person helps him to realize his potential and ability to fight illnesses. An unhealthy person becomes a liability for an organization or a country. An improvement in health status of the population must be priority for any country, yes or no, right? So we made substantial progress as far as infant mortality rate is concerned, crude birth rate is concerned, crude death rate is concerned. Because what is the meaning of crude death rate? Number of deaths for 1,000 people. Crude birth rate means number of births for 1,000 live births. Am I clear? So we made substantial progress in these aspects. Mortality rate is reduced. Okay, at the time of independence, that means at the beginning stages. So our conditions are not up to the mark. Low literacy rate and less health facilities, etc. However, right now we are able to provide good health facilities and good education facilities up to certain extent, right? Yes. So therefore, a lot more needs to be done in the health sector. So what are the facilities which are being provided right now are not sufficient. Lot more needs to be done. Okay. Right. And next thing is a skill development. So skill development means this is the area where we could not achieve much success. Okay. In recent times, government is giving more emphasis on skill development through national skill development programs. Okay. Then our vocational training system is abysmally poor. Vocational training system means there is no linkage between industries and educational institutions. So the practical education should be improved in India. As far as skill development is concerned, we can say only the beginning and magnanimous task is ahead for our government. Yes or no? Of course, the government is doing its part in improving the skills of the population, but there is a lot more to be done. Okay, right. So with this, I will conclude today's lecture. Thank you very much.